Good morning.
All right, we will begin this morning's meeting. If everyone could please remember that this is a public meeting and it's being recorded. I would love for everyone to maintain decorum as though we are having a meeting with everyone in the room. You should remember to, if you are on the phone, to press *6 to mute your call, mute your line. We are having some public hearings this morning for both the engineer and the sanitary engineer. The media that's on the line, and Kovac is on the line, any other media that's on the line. We will have questions at the end of the session. Commissioner Brown is out today, so Commissioner Boyce and I will conduct the meeting. Hope that everybody is doing well still, and we will go ahead and begin this morning's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. We will need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the September 3rd, 2019 general session, the May 21st, 2020 briefing session, and the May 18th, 19th, 20th, and 22nd, 2020 administrative briefings.
Sorry, I was on mute. So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
Okay. The Court of Common Pleas.
Resolution number 342-20. Resolution authorizing a contract modification with Fairfield Information and Associates LLC, doing business as American Court Services, to allow the Franklin County Common Pleas Court General Division to use an existing contract for drug testing services for a revised contract amount of $165,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kimberly Canada, Director of Finance for the Common Pleas Court General Division. This resolution allows for the modification of the approved Resolution 125-20 to include the Common Pleas Court General Division the ability to use the urinalysis testing services from Fairfield Information and Associates. Specifically, the court will utilize their services for random drug testing for defendants under community sanctions with the Common Pleas Court Adult Probation Department. Pending any questions, we request your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for adoption.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 342-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. All right, now to the engineer. We have a public meeting. Clerk Lang, can you please read the public hearing into the record?
Resolution regarding establishing, altering, and widening of Brown Road, County Road number 142 from Frank Road, County Road number 125 to U.S. Route 62, Harrisburg Pike, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineered near to file plans as necessary. Mr. Engineer.
You're muted, Cornell.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Cornell Robertson, County Engineer for every resident, every day. And this particular project, as stated, is in the west part of Franklin County in Franklin Township. It's along Brown Road from Frank Road North to US 62. We will likely widen the lanes along that route, improve the shoulders, improve drainage, and we would also like to add pedestrian facilities.
So is there anyone on the call that would like to speak on this public hearing? Hearing none. We, at this point, I believe we can close the public hearing. And clerk, you can read the resolution into the record.
Thank you. Resolution number 343-20, establishing, altering, and widening of Brown Road, County Road number 142 from Frank Road, County Road number 125 to U.S. Route 62, Harrisburg Pike, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineer to file plans as necessary.
Commissioners, this is the second resolution in a series of two to declare the project necessary, and if approved, will allow us to move forward and begin design. Thank you.
All right.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 343-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 343-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 344-20, resolution authorizing the adoption of the Franklin County Engineers Equitable Business Enterprise FCE EBE program for locally funded projects.
Commissioners, this program may be the first of its kind for county engineers all across the state, one that we're very proud of, and officially is the Franklin County Engineers Equitable Business Enterprise Program. It's patterned to be very close to that of the DBE program administered by ODOT for federally funded projects, but this is more specifically for the locally funded projects. And with me today is Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator Simone Burley with the Franklin County Engineers Office, and I would ask, if okay with you all, for Simone to provide additional information. Simone?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Simone Burley, and I am the Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator for Franklin County Engineer Cornell Robertson. And this resolution seeks to adopt the Franklin County Engineers Equitable Business Enterprise Program for locally funded projects. The program is intended to help remove barriers that impede the participation of disadvantaged businesses in FCEO locally funded projects, assist the development of firms that can compete successfully in the marketplace outside of the EBE program, and foster non-discrimination in the award and administration of FCEO locally funded projects. The Franklin County Engineers Resurfacing Program, which opened bids this past Tuesday, May 19, 2020, is the first FCEO project to utilize the new FCEO EBE program. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval. Thank you.
Hey, before I move for passage for this, hey, Dean, I'm having a problem. My legislation is not showing up in my Dropbox. Can you check to see if that can be reloaded? So I'm not able to see the legislation. I've been trying to reload it and it's not coming in. So I actually can't see the resolutions as they're coming in. But as you're doing that, let me just say to Engineer Robertson that I think that you ought to be commended for taking this initiative as the county engineer. This is really a place that small, local, minority, female-owned, you name it, businesses can engage with the county, and they're in an industry that is predominantly not led by minorities, women, and so forth. And I think this is one of those things that you may not realize it, but it moves the needle. You know, you see, as you've all seen with the exchange with the Dispatch over the last couple of weeks, beginning with their editorial about the city of Columbus's efforts, but then spilled over into even what we do here at Franklin County every day. And I just think that, and since then, to the Dispatch's credit, they have issued an apology and sort of retracted their perspective on it. But the beauty about what the Dispatch did was the level of the outpour of from the community, folks like Marilyn and John and myself, and I can go down the list of folks who engaged the Dispatch to help them understand the value of inclusion. And it just clear to me that no one needs to explain that to you, sir. And I can tell you, there are many of folks, and I've been a business person on the outside of county who's tried to come in and do business with the county. And I can just tell you, getting through the layers, I wish I had known then to just go see John O'Grady, and he would have probably directed me in the right way, or Marilyn, quite frankly. but it was hard to get into the county and to be able to break those barriers for lots of reasons, not necessarily because of racism or anything like that. It's just sometimes the standards created eliminate small businesses' opportunity to even seek business. And so I think this all begins with the effort to value and appreciate all contributions from all types of firms and companies and whatnot. And you, sir, are doing this by the statement. I stand behind you 100% in doing it. We had conversations early on in your tenure about this, and I was telling Nana Watson from the NAACP how you and I had talked early on, and you weren't the same ever since. I mean, you really made a very sincere and I think aggressive effort to just look at it differently, do it differently. And this is an example because you're essentially codifying what you're doing. And I think, and it makes a different kind of statement. So I just want to acknowledge and thank you. And at the end of the day, we want to get some of these businesses to be, lead big projects. And that will be our true win. We can level the playing field in that way. So enough of that. But definitely this is appreciated, valued. And I think we'll do everything we can to support you and help you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate those kind words and your leadership.
Great work, Dean. Sorry, Cornell. Great work, Cornell. I'm looking at Dean.
Dean does good work too.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dean. Great work, Cornell.
Thank you very much.
So I still can't see the resolution. So I don't know the resolution number.
Commissioner, at resolution 344-20, and if the commissioners refresh their drop back boxes, the packet should be in there with my apologies.
Okay, great. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 344-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 344-20 has been adopted. Sorry, commissioners, just one moment, please. Resolution number 345-20, Arcadis US Incorporated Consulting Engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer by providing engineering services for London Groveport Road, State Route 317 at Lockbourne Road, County Road number 13, Hamilton Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $171,283.54.
Commissioners, this capital improvement project is in the southeast part of the county in Hamilton Township at the intersection of State Route 317 and Lockbourne Road. We will likely design a single lane roundabout at this intersection and recommend that Arcadis help us with the design. We utilize the qualifications-based selection process and would recommend your approval.
Okay. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 345-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 345-20 has been adopted. And if I may, before we go any further, Commissioner, are you now able to see your general session packet, sir?
Sorry. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah. Yes. That's why you can't see me. I have my picture up because I'm using the same screen. And so, yeah, it's on now. Thank you for doing that.
Of course. Resolution number 346-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Hall's Construction Materials Testing Incorporated to provide consulting services in the amount of $50,000.
Commissioners, this is a professional services contract with Hall's Material Testing, and they will help us test the asphalt material of our various resurfacing programs, and we would recommend your approval. Pending any questions? Thank you very much.
Great. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 346-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 346-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Cornell. The sheriff.
Resolution number 347-20, resolution authorizing a settlement to Taylor Penwell, Timothy Finney, Lorna Penwell, Audrey Smith, and McIntosh Finney, minor, for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $35,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution approves the settlement of a bodily injury claim from an accident that occurred on May 29th, 2019, per the recommendation of Riddle Hill and Zimmerman Claims Adjuster and the Prosecutor's Office. Approval of this resolution will provide payment in the amount of $35,000 to 5 passengers in the vehicle. Any questions? I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no further comments, or if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 347-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 347-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
To the auditor now.
Resolution number 348-20, resolution authorizing a 1-year contract with Wolpert Incorporated for orthographic aerial current agricultural use valuation, CAUV photography utilizing non-general funds in the amount of $63,500.
Good morning, President O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce, Michael Stenziano, your Franklin County Auditor. We have
Mr. Auditor.
Good morning. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. We're bought a new pool and the kids are already outside taking advantage of all the water we purchased already. First resolution.
That is the latest thing. Everybody's buying a new pool.
I just don't know how I'm going to wrap it back into the box that it came in, Commissioner. Takes up the whole backyard. First resolution, as the clerk mentioned, authorizes a contract to update the county's cultural agricultural use valuation, or CAUV. So think farm or farming land, a digital photography data set. The office is tasked with annually reviewing each CAUV parcel in the county to ensure compliance with the CAUV program. Wolpert contracts planes to take aerial photography of the county and uses proprietary sensory and radar technologies to identify types of agricultural land use remotely. This does save taxpayer dollars, so we don't have to send appraiser staff out and look at each parcel individually. And it also allows for annual tracking of land, so our office has a better indication earlier of any land use changes and are able to communicate with appropriate CAUV participants as efficiently as possible. Pending any questions or comments, I would appreciate passage.
Great. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 348-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 348-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 349-20, resolution authorizing a contract with Wolpert Incorporated for Geographical Information System, GIS, building outline data set enhancement services utilizing non-general funds in the amount of $494,347.
Thank you. So this second contract, also with Wolpert, authorizes for professional analysis services under a state term schedule that adds to the county state-of-the-art GIS, Geographical Information System program. Our data sets by creating highly accurate and detailed building outlines for each building throughout Franklin County. Using data from pictures already taken in 2019, Wolpert then applies remote sensory and interactive quality assurance services to enhance the boundaries and dimensions of every building and gives our appraisal staff additional tools to track changes in building dimensions that would signal for us new construction or demolition or any other related changes that would impact property valuations. This kind of analysis is especially helpful when we have our dense areas of the city and may be difficult and again costly to send an appraiser out, particularly in our current environment, having appraisers looking around people's backyards or trying to find appropriate boundaries. Wolpert does a great job. It's pretty snazzy when they're down there working through the lines and what they're able to do with the photography. Pending any questions, we would appreciate passage of the resolution.
Thank you, Auditor Stenziano. This isn't necessarily a question geared at this resolution, but more about GIS. Who leads GIS for the data center? And here's why I'm asking, and we don't have to get into this now, but let me plant this seed. I've been looking at data from across the country as part of a NACO economic mobility group. And many counties are able to use their GIS systems to look at different trends in different tracts of our county to sort of look at what kind of targeted services or targeted resources we can put. Can I meet with your data person, your GIS person, to sort of talk more about this, and love you to have you part of the meeting. And then B, is this something that we can do with our current GIS system, or is it just an upgrade that we need to get that sort of deep into the details?
Thank you, Commissioner Boyce. So the GIS director, his name's Matt Shade. He came in office March 11th with me. He's a rock star. He knows all the tools, comes from the private side, also worked on the public side previously, and I think he would welcome the opportunity to highlight the resources we have, the collaboration as well with the data center, and the support we can provide for any agency or information desired either through the Board of Commissioners or direct departments in different functions.
Great. I'll have my staff reach out to Matt, and we'll get something set up. And to Commissioner O'Grady and Brown is not here, but I know they'd be interested in this because I've been exposed to a really neat way to target resources we need, and also Director Bibbins would be interested in this. And so I'll follow up, and certainly I'll include my colleagues, and we'll get the conversation going on how to best use the data.
Whatever you guys need, we're happy to do it.
Great.
Thank you, Auditor. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 349-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 349-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. The Office on Aging.
Resolution number 350-20. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding with service providers of the National Family Caregiver Support Program administered by Franklin County Office on Aging.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Amy Funk, Interim Director. On December 17, 2019, Resolution number 0915-19 was approved authorizing a grant contract between the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging and Franklin County Office on Aging for services under the National Family Caregiver Support Program in the amount of $306,230. Office on Aging administers these grant funds to provide caregivers information and services in Franklin County by entering into a memorandum of understanding with these service providers. This resolution is requesting that the Board of Commissioners grant authorization to the county administrator to sign the MOUs with these providers for services provided through the National Family Caregiver Support Program. If there are no questions, I respectfully ask for your approval of this resolution.
Great. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 350-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 350-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 351-20. Resolution authorizing a funding agreement with Homes on the Hill for the Township Homes Housing Project to construct 3 single-family homes under the county's Home Community Housing Development Organization Reserve, CHDO-R program, in the amount of $120,086.10.
Director Shimmer, do we have you?
I'm also here. If you can start my video.
Well, there's Jenny. Good morning.
Good morning,
Jenny.
Commissioners. How are you?
Well,
Jenny
all right,
Snap.
Good morning. Jenny.
We'd rather hear from you than Director Shimmer and Mark.
Great. Jenny Snap, Economic Development and Planning. We have 2 resolutions this morning. The first, Mark Paxton, our Community Development Administrator, is going to take you through. Mark, can you go ahead and start with the first
Please.
resolution?
Always love to hear Mark talking about Chodos.
Director Shimmer, I'm sorry, I'm still not hearing you, sir.
We can't hear you guys.
All right, well, if you can't hear him, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to take you through the first resolution. So the Township Homes project will entail the building of 3 new single-family houses on scattered site vacant lots in Prairie Township and Franklin Townships in Franklin County. All houses will be marketed for sale to households whose incomes is 80% and below area median income. In accordance with the Home Fund guidelines, and any house remains unsold and is not in contract in sale within 9 months of completion, Homes on the Hill will rent it to eligible households. The key partners for the project includes Franklin County Economic Development, Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation, Prairie Township, and the Finance Fund. The outcomes will include the rehab of 3 houses for sale to eligible families, and every household purchasing a home will successfully complete housing counseling and a home buyer education class. The sourcing is with the Home Partnership Community Housing Development Organization reserve program funds with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So that is my brief overview in place of Mark Paxson.
We're live, so we can hopefully you can hear us now. Mark, do you have anything you want to add? Thank you, Jenny.
No, Jenny was very comprehensive, and thank you very much, Ms. Knapp.
All right.
Teamwork, nice.
Director Sherman.
What was that? The only thing I'll say is, Director Schimmer, it will be nice to do a, maybe around budget time even, a sort of report, an annual report on how the housing program is going, because it looks like you guys are being very strategic and very deliberate about the use of those funds and how, where you want to accomplish them. I love projects like this, where they're sort of one-off, not necessarily in the core city, but in other areas of the county that need services too, or need resources too. So I'm looking forward to looking at the annual numbers, just see how far that impacted, just exactly the projects we did or were involved in. Probably be good at some point to go on a tour of these sites and take some really good photos of the before and after stuff. So this is good.
Commissioner Boyce, that'll be a pleasure to do, because we have been involved in a lot of things since we got the mandate to work on housing activities and projects. So we're moving forward with our process, and in this case, the community development block grant money is being utilized in a good way. So look forward to doing that. Let's plan that for the fall. That would be good.
All right, let's do it. Outstanding. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 351-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 351-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 352-20. Resolution authorizing a grant agreement with Impact Community Action for Franklin County COVID-19 Emergency Assistance Eviction Prevention in support of the Housing Stabilization Coalition's HOPE Fund in the amount of $500,000.
Commissioners, this morning, EDP, along with our partners at Job and Family Services, are proud to present you with this resolution in the amount of $500,000 with Impact Community Action for emergency housing assistance and eviction prevention. To address this matter, Impact, along with the Housing Stabilization Coalition, are combining their efforts to initiate and create the HOPE Fund with the goal of decreasing the number of evictions in the county. To date, there are already approximately 1,200 evictions that have been filed and are pending in Franklin County Municipal Court. This is a dire housing and social issue only amplified by COVID-19 and will be further exacerbated when the eviction moratorium is lifted on June 1st. The Housing Stabilization Coalition is made up of 16 housing partners and include Job and Family Services, Franklin County Municipal Court, Franklin County Veterans Services Commission, the City of Columbus, Legal Aid, the Affordable Housing Alliance, Columbus Metropolitan Housing Alliance, Impact Community Action, and more, who come together to combine their efforts to initiate the HOPE Match Fund, which is now totaling approximately $4.7 million in administrated by Impact Community Action. This fund will assist residents in need and decrease the number of evictions in Franklin County. The eligibility parameters include rent and mortgage assistance open to all county residents who are below 200% of the poverty level and have been affected by COVID-19 in some way. And please note, I know Commissioner Boyce, you asked this question at briefing. Residents who apply do not have to have minor children in the household. The HOPE Fund will help nearly 2,000 families, and Impact will use the charity tracker to ensure efficient allocations and to avoid duplication of funds. The online platform for application will begin on June 1st. This agreement is funded with $500,000 in EDP's affordable housing funds that will be reimbursed upon receipt of CARES Act dollars. Commissioners, I would be remiss if I didn't officially thank Deputy Administrator Eric Janis, who has led this effort out over the last 2 weeks. In addition, I would like to thank Clerk Dean Hindenlang for his patience and assistance, and EDP Community Development Administrator Mark Paxton for his hard work. This resolution and the following ones by Job and Family Services have truly been a partnership. So I want to thank our sister agency, Job and Family Services, particularly Joy Bivens, Vivian Turner, Bart Logan, and Laura Rapaski. Commissioners, this morning we have Mr. Bo Chilton, CEO of Impact Community Action, here to speak on this resolution.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Bo.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Thank you
Bo.
for the opportunity to, good morning, Commissioner Boyce. Thank you for this opportunity to again say thank you for your role in helping us lead this effort. It really began at the very first, at the outset, with a recommendation from Director Bivens to NiSource to reach out to us and partner on an idea that I had to create this fund so that we can help stave off the eviction crisis. From there, I was given the opportunity to accept a resolution from the county commissioners, and that's when I announced the HOPE Fund. That was on Tuesday, Giving Tuesday. And from there, we really build momentum to get to this $4.7 million. With the help of the coalition partners, we are going to be able to serve anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 customers during the next 3 months. We're going to be able to do this because we're moving to an online platform that will allow us to take a number of applications right away and then process through them. No longer will people need an appointment to come in and sit down with someone. Instead, we'll be reaching out, case managing, and troubleshooting any missing documentation. But the goal is to serve 175 people a week. We will have on-site premises at Franklin County Court, the eviction court that will be relocated to the convention center. So we will be on site there with about 4 staff taking customers on site. Again, I just want to thank you for your leadership role in this. When the county came in to support the endeavor, it helped us build momentum with others. And really and truly, we've shown an example of how the Columbus Way and really our caring community have come together to support the work that I even think the foundation was laid with the poverty report that the county established. We've been building that momentum, and I'm glad to see the bravery and the courage that it took to declare racism a public health crisis. I remember, Commissioner O'Grady, when you said that racism is an issue and we're going to name it, own it, and address it. I've remembered those words, and I'm glad to see that we are living those words. So thank you all.
Thank you, Bo.
Yes, thanks. Commissioner O'Grady, if I could just add, Bo, this as much as about impact as it is. I mean, you all, as it is what we're doing, you all are great partners to work with. And I just have to say publicly, it was, I've been in situations with you with constituents where I've called you on a Sunday night to help someone figure out how we can stop their eviction. And your words to me were, we got it, and there's no better feeling like that to be able to call a constituent and say, here, call this number, talk to this person, you're going to be okay. And that's really what impact does on so many levels. And, I just go down the list, I won't, but thank you for what you're doing. My folks will probably be reaching out to you today about another issue at some point, but again, thanks for being part of our Franklin County family and team. We appreciate you. Then let's see, this resolution number, let me go back to my sheet here. Sorry. If there are no further comments or questions, enthusiastically move for the adoption of 352-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
I'm sorry. I want to just add to Eric, Janice, and all of the team internally. Ms. Snap, thank you so much. It's almost goes without saying you all are doing great work. And during the COVID-19, I feel like everyone has been just so on top of getting these resources out and really putting what's important first. And so I appreciate and thank you all. Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yeah.
Resolution number 352.
Oh, did he move?
He did, yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Second. I didn't hear him move. I apologize.
It's okay. I just want to make sure. Commissioner Boyce, can you vote again, please, sir?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 352-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
All right. Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 353-20. Resolution establishing a new prevention, retention, and contingency PRC Plus program and increasing funding for the existing PRC Emergency Assistance Program in response to the impending eviction crisis resulting from the COVID-19 public health emergency in the amount of $2,100,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. Rental assistance is just one of the family supports available through our PRC Emergency Assistance Program, but it is far and away the most common request for assistance. In this current program year, beginning in October 2019, we have issued more than $1.3 million in rent and mortgage assistance through the PRC program. Commissioners, as you are aware, there are well over 1,000 evictions pending in municipal court, with the moratorium due to be lifted on June 1st. In response to this crisis, you are authorizing a combined $2.1 million in CARES Act and TANF dollars that will allow us to keep thousands of families in their homes. The reallocated TANF dollars will allow us to better meet expanded demand for our current PRC program, while the $1.5 million in CARES Act will allow us to create a parallel program we are calling PRC Plus for families that wouldn't otherwise qualify using our eligibility guidelines. This PRC Plus program will allow families up to 300% of the federal poverty level to qualify for one-time rental assistance. Starting June 1st, families will be able to apply using our normal PRC application. With the added resources, we estimate that we will be able to provide rental assistance for approximately 1,500 low-income families. The program will run through the end of the federal fiscal year or September 30th, 2020, or until the funding is exhausted. And now I'm going to refer to Director Bivens, who has additional comments on this resolution.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joy Bivens, Director of Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services. Last week, you declared, along with the Franklin County Community Health Department, racism a public health crisis. I will be remiss if I did not highlight some of the data to show the impact of racial disparity as it relates to eviction in Franklin County. I believe this resolution is a direct, actionable item showing that the commissioners are not just talking the talk, but they're actually being very intentional about providing programming that addresses disparities. About 40%, according to the OSU Glenn College research in 2018, about 40% of evictions occur in only 6 zip codes with neighborhoods like Whitehall, Northland, and the Hilltop area. 63% of tenants surveyed at courthouse were African-American women. Nationally, Black families are more than 2 times more likely to face eviction than white families. According to the first quarter data from Community Shelter Board, 94% of families in emergency shelter had female head of households, and nearly 3/4 were headed by African-Americans. Commissioners, I thank you so much for being intentional and being actionable as it relates to addressing racial disparity highlighted in the blueprint plan. And I thank Eric, Janice, and our other agencies for assisting in this work.
Hey, Director Bivens, thank you for all your, I mean, there isn't anyone that's more dedicated and committed to this cause than you. And, we appreciate your leadership with us. Can you send me those statistic points? I want to use those for something. And if you could just cite the source, because I'm gonna put them in something that I could use. That'd be helpful. But again, I think enough's been said about it. We're putting our money where our mouth is with regards to this declaration. I've been filming a lot of interviews on behalf of the commissioners on this topic. I suspect because I'm African American, but the fact is that what I've said to all of them, we are a three-headed institution. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the point is that at the end of the day, what I've said to them is, you'll see, we put our money where our mouth is,
Right.
and I'm confident of that. And this doesn't even include the innovation hub and all of the work. I mean, this is really good work, and I think the bigger statement than even the declaration of the resolution. So, if there are no further comments or questions, I got to go back to my sheet again.
Okay. So if I can, pending any questions, we request your approval.
Okay.
It's 353-20.
Thanks, Commissioner Grady. If there are no comments or questions, move for passage of 353-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 353-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, and everyone remain safe.
Thank you. On to sanitary engineer, and we have a public hearing. So Clerk Hendon Lang, if you could please read the public hearing into the record.
Resolution to approve an application and plan for Suburban Steel Supply Company to apply brine to its private roads and parking areas.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ryan Stowe with the sanitary engineer. Suburban Steel Supply Company in Gahanna has applied to approve brine to their local roads and parking areas. We have received their plan and application, and everything seems to be in order. This will be the fourth time that Suburban Steel has applied to us for this application.
Okay. Well, Ryan, I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone in the audience or on the Zoom meeting this morning who would like to speak to this public hearing? All right, seeing none, then we'll close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 354-20, resolution approving an application and plan for Suburban Steel Supply Company to apply brine to its private roads and parking areas.
Commissioners, this resolution is the approval of a plan for brine application by Suburban Steel Company, LLC. Per the Ohio Revised Code, surface applications of brine by local governments requires the Board of Commissioners to adopt a resolution approving any application of brine to roads or land surfaces owned or maintained by any person other than a political subdivision who desires to apply brine. Suburban Steel Company, LLC, is located in Gahanna and has applied to apply brine to their private haul roads and parking lot areas. Their application plan and certification are in accordance with the ORC, by which approval can be granted. Pending any questions or comments, I request the passage of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 354-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 354-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 355-20, resolution authorizing a contract extension with Virtual Case Manager for web-based case management software licensure through the fiscal year 2018 Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Medication Assisted Treatment Grant Program in the amount of $2,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. As stated in the title, this is a contract extension for our virtual case management system. This is a web-based system that allows us to keep track of all the clients who are currently or have previously been in our programs with whom we still have contact. Obviously, in this time of COVID, with people not coming into the office and not being able to use paper files and so forth to track people, this web-based system has become critical. And so we ask for your approval for this contract extension.
Great. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 355-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 355-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 356-20, resolution authorizing a contract with Access Health Columbus, doing business as the Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus for the provision of jail diversion services and care coordination in the amount of $25,000.
Commissioners, this is a program in the municipal court being sponsored by the Columbus City Attorney, where we take offenders who have theft charges from big box stores and work with them to find out the why behind their theft and connect them with the appropriate social and community services to stop that cycle of theft and to connect them to the resources that they need. This is stopgap funding for a few months here in the summer and as requested by the Columbus City Attorney. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for adoption of 356-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 356-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 357-20, resolution authorizing the President of the Board of Commissioners to accept on behalf of Franklin County a fiscal year 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program Award from the U.S. Department of Justice.
Commissioners, as part of the CARES Act, there was money set aside for law enforcement and other first responders within cities and counties. These dollars were determined based essentially on the formulation used for the justice assistance grants annually and are approximately 3 times the dollar amount of the justice assistance grants. And so the total amount coming to us will be $1,548,925. Of that, $43,793 is tagged for the city of Whitehall. In the original distribution from the federal government, the county was allocated only $58,008, but working with our partners at the city of Columbus, who have been very gracious partners with us, we will be spending almost $300,000 in the county, and the remaining $1.2 million will be spent by the city of Columbus. Entities in the county to receive funding will include the Court of Common Pleas General Division, the Court of Common Pleas Juvenile and Domestic Relations Division, the Public Defender's Office, the Sheriff's Office, the Clerk of Courts, and the Community-Based Correctional Facility. Pending any questions, we'd ask for your approval.
Sorry. I was reading in the legislation. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 357-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 357-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. The Purchasing Department.
Resolution number 358-20, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,697,854.72.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Meg.
Good morning. Megan Perry Balanier, Director of Purchasing. This resolution requests your approval of 58 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 8 out of 11 eligible POs totaling $50,151 are being presented for award to 3 women business enterprises, 2 small and emerging business enterprises, 1 local economically disadvantaged enterprise, and 2 minority business enterprises. This represents 73% of the eligible PO volume and 90% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 358-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 358-20 has been adopted.
Thanks, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Dean, do we have any journalizations today?
Not this morning, Commissioner.
So we have, I'd like to give Administrator Wilson a moment. He had some stuff he'd like to talk to us about in terms of COVID-19 updates.
Mr. Wilson, you're still muted, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners. Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. I just want to briefly take a moment to provide an update of where the county is regarding COVID-19 response efforts. Resolution 181-20 declared an emergency related to COVID-19 and authorized the county administrator to take certain actions and report back to the board on any actions taken. This update covers the time between April 13th and May 25th. One purchase order in the amount of $220,374.54 was approved to meet critical IT needs. And since the declaration, 8 purchase orders totaling $349,210.29 have been approved to effectively deal with the emergency related to COVID-19. And on April 30th, a work group began meeting to identify and propose solutions for moving the county to the new normal. The work group established 4 committees to focus on items for review: human resources, IT and technology, general meetings, facility and building needs. In addition, various volunteers from various agencies, boards, the courts, and offices, and each committee had representation from the Office of Management and Budget and the Prosecutor's Office, as well as Franklin County Public Health, Columbus Public Health. These recommendations from each of these committees are due tomorrow. It's by May 27th. With today's actions, the board's approvals total $11,570,529. Again, today's efforts represent $11,570,590. These efforts represent housing, small business relief, building modification, eviction prevention, and rental assistance, as was highlighted today. I would like to commend all the county agencies for their efforts to date, and as well as thank the commissioners for your continued leadership as we move through this unprecedented time in the county's history. But I'm confident as we continue to move forward, the county will be stronger when this all ends at some point in time. Thank you, commissioners.
Hey, Administrator, would you mind sending me your anything you're reading from just all those? But I'd like to just look a bit closer, if you don't mind.
Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady, this information was included in the Office of Management and Budget's Monday morning minutes that was released yesterday. I can, if you don't.
Okay. Perfect.
Let me know.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the update. Is there anything else for the good of the order? That concludes then our business, and we have an administrative session that starts. Are we going to just stay on this call, or are we going to redo this? How are we handling this?
There is a separate link, Commissioner, that those individuals wanting to take part will need to sign into.
I assumed since it's a separate meeting, we would have to re-sign in.
Commissioner O'Grady, this is Chris Long. I don't know if there are any questions of the media before we conclude this meeting.
Okay.
Can I ask one quickly?
Sure.
To the commissioners or the administrator, whomever wants to answer. I'm just curious. Now I've forgotten. You threw me for a loop. On evictions and that kind of thing. Are you looking longer term as the money that was approved today? I think there was a mention of about 3 months, kind of dealing with the initial onslaught of these evictions that are coming through. I'm curious if you're looking longer term than that, as I assume that initial money isn't going to be enough to cover the growing need that's out there. And if you could briefly comment on why it's important to help people remain in their homes as far as the bigger picture on poverty and that kind of thing, that would be helpful.
Ken, I'm going to let you handle the question on the dollars. Look, at the end of the day, we need to do all we. Right now, we've got and Joy, you can chime in here if you'd like, as well as obviously, Commissioner Boyce. This is certainly. I don't want to hog the answer here. Is the point? But at the end of the day, look, we were battling poverty and working to battle poverty before this situation came upon us a couple of months ago, and then this happened. And this is our financial crisis that hit us, was unprecedented, was unexpected, and so things for some people things went from normal to terrible. For other people, things went from bad to worse. And so, we had people that were dealing with tough economic times, tough financial situations, and now they're devastated. We had other people that were, who were, maybe living from paycheck to paycheck, who suddenly went without a paycheck. Then we had other folks who were doing okay, and then all of a sudden, ended up in a situation where they've got nothing, where they've got no paycheck. And so we've got people across the board that are dealing with suddenly a loss of income. Some folks had little income and have none now. Some had moderate income and have none now. Some had a decent income and have none now. So, evictions are coming for all kinds of folks. People who were facing eviction before the crisis, people who didn't really imagine facing eviction before the crisis, and people who couldn't imagine facing eviction before the crisis are all now facing eviction. So this is an issue that we need to figure, we need to work on, and we need to figure out across the board. But I'll let both my colleague and the administrators answer as well.
I guess I'll just add. I guess I'll just add before Ken goes into the numbers, is that housing is probably the most fundamental thing for quality of life, and it all kind of starts and ends with where you lay your head at night, and this investment is to ensure that those who are most vulnerable have a fighting chance. Sometimes you just don't know what the scenario has brought them. You don't know how they got there or why. But at the end of the day, what matters most is stabilizing them so they can continue. And talk to any one of those families that have accessed those resources, and I guarantee you that you will see a very unique story to their situation. But at the heart of it will be just their fundamental need to survive, and that begins with housing. And so, to me, when you ask the question, is this a long-term thing? Of course it is. The how and what it looks like is always a variable, but we will always take on the idea of, if we're going to eliminate poverty, if we're going to reduce poverty, we have to be able to invest in the most fundamental elements of what it takes to provide a decent quality of life for people. And so, I don't know what it'll look like long term, but I know this. That's what that's what we're here for. That's what these resources are for. That's what the poverty work, by the way, Mark, the idea around the poverty work is that to eliminate the need for the eviction program, is to try to create environments where families can be self-sustaining. And that's the difference in how we've approached it over the last couple of years, is that, it's not just about the rent subsidy or food resources. It's about getting folks from their most vulnerable state to a self-sustaining position in life. And that's what the eviction funds do, is help stabilize a family or a person so that they can have a fighting chance, whatever their scenario is.
And I would just really add that the only reason why it goes through September is because that coincides with the federal fiscal year. As long as there are evictions in Franklin County, I believe that this will always be a demand. I don't know if resources will always be there, but I think Commissioner Boyce touched on it. Housing is essential. It touches on the social determinants of health. If you don't have housing, it impacts everything else about a person's life. We have to figure out a way to really be intentional, like we are today, addressing evictions so that families can be health and work.
Mark, it's Eric Janis. I'm sorry, I missed the question. Was the question related to why the September 30th deadline?
Well, no, I'm sorry. Two-part. The part that's already been addressed is why it's important to help people remain in their homes. The first part of the question was, how much more money do you think you're going to need to put into eviction prevention, specifically related to coronavirus? I assume that's in the works. I'm thinking back a couple months ago to that JFS program where the assistance lasted a day or whatever, and I assume this rental assistance is going to go quickly. Do you anticipate having to put more money into COVID eviction responses past this next few months? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I get you, Mark. Well, so I would say a couple of things. One, the commissioner's already mentioned that we, through the Department of Job and Family Services, we regularly do eviction prevention through the PRC program. So we have a pretty good idea of what demand has been over the first 8 months of the federal fiscal year, and in particular the last couple of months as this crisis has escalated, which is why we made the initial decision to put the dollars in that we did now, and why we expanded the program to try to help people above that 165% of poverty threshold. And the idea was, let's make sure that we get some dollars into the program quickly, stand up supports beyond the existing program, and see how it goes. And we'll make that judgment based on both the demand, but also we have to balance that in terms of resources that we have and that the federal government provides. So the program was stood up to initially get started quickly, be able to address families before that June 1st date or on that June 1st date as the eviction moratorium is lifted. And then we're going to evaluate. And, if the demand is there and the resources are there, then we'll come back to the commissioners with an additional recommendation. But we think that's the prudent approach. Get some dollars in the community right away to help people that have immediate need, and then make our considered judgment after that.
Mark, this is Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. I will now speak to the numbers. As you know, looking retrospectively, which is the period of the last 3 months, we responded relatively right away as it related to housing needs, both emergent and the foreclosure wave that we knew was associated with the June 1 date that has been referenced. But looking retrospectively even, we have not overreached as far as our initial efforts. We provided $250,000 to the Ohio Hispanic Coalition. Those dollars are primarily aimed and will go to rental assistance. We have $250,000 as well to the Columbus Urban League, and we will be monitoring those expenditures. And then about $1.1 million to the Community Shelter Board for housing and homeless related expenses. But note, Mark, we're using multiple revenue streams. The $1.1 million is CARES Act supplemental community development block grant dollars. And then in addition to that, today, you $500,000 for the Hope Coalition, which I think is built for the long term if you're able to find funding for that, and the dollars that have been identified within Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services. So we will be, as been noted, monitoring the situation. But as administrator, I don't expect this to be a situation where you come in with relief, and this is the type of problem that's going to go away. We got to be strategic and thoughtful in the amount of dollars that we have available. For example, our Corona Relief Fund initially received $76.3 million. We've been very thoughtful and strategic in bringing proposals forward to the board to expend those dollars. So as a result of that, even though I'm preparing on the general fund side for the county to lose sales tax revenue, but that will not inhibit our abilities to effectively use almost $65 million that we still have unallocated and of those dollars to use towards the needs that the county will see as it relates to COVID-19. So we're trying to be thoughtful and strategic and not put all of our dollars out or commit our dollars, because we want to be resilient and flexible, because we don't know how long this thing may last. So I hope that answered your question regarding the dollars.
That does. I appreciate it. I apologize for running over into your administrative call time.
And if I might, everyone, I'm going to, unless there are any other questions, I need to end this meeting so that I'm able to begin the next one. I apologize. Any objections?
Nope.
Thank you, everyone.